Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fariz Abdillah, and I'm the student of the course of conflict resolutions in Islamic words. And now I'm going to discuss about the Kurds and a new country. May it be a proper solutions? Um, Now, I explain the table of contents of this presentations. It will be filled by the introductions, research questions, analysis, and the last is conclusions. First of all, when we're talking about the Kurds, we have to know it more about the Kurds itself. So geographically, the Middle East region is a fairly strategic and important region of its presence in the world, both politically and economically. The Middle East is also the center of the world's religion based on the region of Samawi, such as Islam, Judaism, and Christians. With all that, until now, this region is known as a region that has always been plagued by the conflict. Either is because of religions, geographical, or ethnic conflicts. All of this makes the political dynamics in the Middle East region has a unique patterns compared to other regions in this part of the world. Among the political characteristics of the regions is the presence of a number of tribes that play political dynamics in these regions. One of these tribes is the Kurds itself. Okay. The Kurds. So I'm sorry. Okay. The Kurds had a golden age in their history. They had an extraordinary warrior and leader figure such as Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. He was an Islamic hero in the Crusades who managed to retake Jerusalem, following to the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the hands of Masihi people. The Kurds belong to a minority tribe that inhabits several countries in the Middle East, such as Iraq, Iran, Turkey, and parts of Syria. We can see in the map there. The Kurdish tribe has been part of a long-running ethnic conflict in the Middle East. The Kurds have always been the victims of the ruling regime in the countries they inhabit. Iraq, for example. During the rule of Saddam Hussein, who launched a major attack with chemical weapons against the Kurdish tribal populations after the Gulf War. In Turkey, many Kurds were massacred and deported by the Ankara regime because of the uprising they carried out in 1925, 1930, and 1937. In 1988, Iran also captured the South Kurdistan regions. Many attempts to integrate this ethnicity in various Middle Eastern countries have always failed despite the use of military instruments. This is more due to the desire of ethnic Kurds to carry out separatisms and gather in new states of Kurdish independence. So the research questions: what are the motives behind the separatisms of the Kurds? And by creating a new state, is it can solve the problems caused by the Kurds? Next slide. Um, the majority of the Kurds are in Middle Eastern countries, right? Especially in Iraq and Turkey, but they do not belong to ethnic Arabs with a different language than Arabic, which is Kurdish. The difference of a distance between Arabs and Kurds in the countries that they inhabit are often becoming the reasons for riots. Thus, the Kurds is always understood by many countries as an ethnicity that always causes a problems. Although not included in the Arab ethnics, the Kurds tribe played an important role in the history of politics in the Middle East. Moreover, the Kurds are referred to as a tragic nations due to geographical character, tribalism, sentiment, tyranny, and colonialisms. The tragedy of the Kurds become known as Eastern Problem. Ironically, the Kurdish problem is often forgotten and ignored. There is no defense of the Kurds, even perceived as political community of regional and international powers for any particular purpose. The Kurds are even considered to occupy the lower class caste in the heterogeneity of Arab society. Their rights are often castrated, their deaths as if grateful, etc. Furthermore, one form of their resistance is by means of the Kurdish nationalism movement or separatism movement. Next slide. Uh, Okay, the Kurds themselves fought for the fate of their people precisely in 1880, sorry, when an uprising led by a Kurdish figure, Sheikh Ubaidullah, broke out in Hakkari province under the rule of the Ottoman Empire of Turkey in 1987. The Kurd published a newspaper called Kurdistan for the first time. This newspaper aims to disseminate informations about the culture and struggle of the Kurds. The idea of the struggle and the struggles of the Kurds in order to gain their homeland already occurred for a long time. In 1920, Treaty of Sevres, Sevres is a city in France, guaranteed a founding of an independent Kurdistan state, and the reality never realized. The Kurds have an aspirations to establish an autonomous Kurdistan regions where they can govern themselves and maintain their identity and socio-cultural system. The fact that the Kurdistan region is located in several countries become the main obstacle to to the realizations of the independence of the Kurdistan state. While the Kurdistan region has been integrated into the countries of Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and also Soviet and Syrian since its establishment. This is the main reasons of the conflict due to the presence of Kurds in some countries such as Iraq, Iran, Turkey. Thus, any activity of the Kurds to free themselves always ends in crackdown and oppressions. The way to independence for Kurdistan seems to be waiting for the destructions of the three countries that rule it. And last, the conclusion. So basically, the rise of Kurdish nationalism, which began in 19th century, and the independence promised by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson in ruling from 1856 until 1924 through the Treaty of Sevres in 1920, presents a unique challenge to the strong political order of the Middle East regions. But it seems that the ideals of independence are increasingly difficult to realize because of its strategic geopolitical locations and availability of large quantities of oil, complete with pipelines to Europe and Israel in areas inhabited by the Kurds. Every activity to free themselves always ends in crackdown and operations. The path to independence for Kurdistan seems to await the destruction of the three countries that control it, let alone the three countries, Iraq, Iran, and Turkey, often build cooperations to quell the turmoil of the insurgency carried out by the Kurds. In addition, the presence of foreigners also often makes the Kurds as political sacrifice. So that's all from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys like it. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.